Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Tex. Today's going to be the start of a new series focused around playing stock tanks. This is something a lot of people have trouble with, myself included, so I thought it'd be a good idea to make some videos on it. This series is going to consist of replays of games I played in stock tanks, and I'll mainly talk about what I did differently to compensate for the fact that they were stock. I hope this is useful. I mean, that's the goal. The first few episodes are going to be about the Chinese IS-2, because that's the most recent stock tank I grinded through. But anyway, enjoy. Alright, so this game was on Mannerheim line. You can see it's not a tier 9 game, which is good, but I'm still bottom tier. However, I noticed that they don't have a lot of top tier heavies, right? They've got a Renegade, and you could probably count the Super Pershing. But most of their heavies are the same tier as me, which is good. And that allows me to play the south, which is the heavy side of this map, because I'm going to be mostly shooting at same tier opponents, which is what I want. In a stock tank like this, right? I only have 175 pen on this stock gun and 235 on my gold rounds, which is pretty decent, but I've got a long reload and only 250 alpha. So my gun isn't the best. But in stock tanks, well, in all tanks, you want to try to get side shots on the enemy, right? You want to shoot them when they're not looking at you, so you don't take damage as you do damage to them. But in stock tanks, that's even way more important. Because you most of the time you won't have the HP or the armor to take hits, and your gun doesn't do much damage, so you need to get a lot more hits to do well. So it's even more important to hit guys who aren't looking at you. And on this map, I don't like to commit down to this lower road early in the game, especially because I noticed that we don't have a lot of forces down here, right? It's just me and these two heavies, and committing to this bottom road, which both of my heavy tanks are going to go to, often gets you killed because if their team wins this side, they just overwhelm you and there's no way out. So because I'm in a stock tank, I'm going to play this corner, which allows me a way of retreat if they do win this side. And you can see already, they already have way more tanks than we do, right? They have almost double the amount of tanks we have here. So already I need to be careful. So going to this side was a good choice, or going to this corner rather than committing down to the lower road is a good choice, because now I have a way to escape. And here's the side shots I'm talking about, excuse me. This Super Pershing's just letting me put rounds into his turret. That was 2 into the side of his turret, and he actually backs up and lets me put another one into his the side of his tank here. Super Pershing is not great for side scraping. You'll see my shell goes right through his side. There. So that's cool. He shot at me. I try to get the second shot, but that doesn't work out. It is what it is with that. But I am shooting gold. And even if you don't usually shoot gold, if you can afford it, shoot it in your stock tanks. It's really, really beneficial. It allows you to get more damage, which allows you to get more XP, which makes your grind go faster, so you can upgrade your tank quicker. So even if you don't usually shoot gold, shooting it in your stock tanks is worth it, in my opinion. If you absolutely can't afford it, I get it, it's expensive, but if you can, definitely shoot gold in stock tanks. I'm not saying load full gold, but at least carry some if you can. So that gets me 3 shots of early damage, which is nice. Here, I start to fall back. You can see I take the round there, I bounce one off him. That's fine. But at this point, I see that my heavies are getting overrun, which is exactly what I was afraid of, right? That's why I'm not down there. You'll see this is exactly why I didn't go down there. So I realize I need to fall back because they're going to push this side. And I only have 2 teammates to help me out. A P-43 and a Scorpion. Scorpion's gun is going to be very useful, but I don't know about the P-43. So I fall back to this position for 2 reasons. The first is obviously so I don't die, but the second is this puts the enemies into a crossfire. If you look at the map, this little ramp right here at the bottom of H8 is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but the enemies will often camp there for a while until they've cleared out this field, and then they'll move up. So while they're there, you can put a lot of damage into them. And me being in this position, rather than falling all the way back to where my friendlies are, puts them into a crossfire. So it divides their attention between my direction and my allies' direction, which makes it harder for them to push across this field. So basically, this position is going to be beneficial to holding this side. And you can see my allies are pushing through the north right now. So basically, my goal is to just hold this side until my allies win the north. So I'm banking on them winning the north, which is not the best strategy, but sometimes it does work out. And here you can already see this crossfire is working, right? These guys were originally looking towards my teammates up here, and I'm getting shots into their sides. Right now, they're kind of just corner camping me. I can't really poke on them. You see, I can't really poke on him because he's looking directly at me. And I actually make a mistake here because they're corner camping me. They finally get unlit here. So I hope he looked away. I give him a second, and then I pull out, which was a mistake. He is looking at me, and luckily he bounces me. But if he had penned me there, that would have been 700 damage, and that would have ruined my game. So that was not a smart poke for me to take. I should have waited longer. However, I did get a shot into him. So now he's a 2-shot. He just got clicked. And here's the super Pershing. Well, he'll pop up in a second. There he is. He kind of just drives right into me. This guy seems like a new player or something. But that's fine. He's dead. And now we've pretty much won the north. So I'm expecting a lot of their tanks in the south to kind of fall back towards their base, which makes me want to push this side now. So I decided to move up a bit, try to get some shots into these guys, because again, they're fairly low health. 2 shots into that O knee, and that'll kill him. Now I get clicked again, so now it's just a 1-shot. So now I'm even more confident pushing up, because both these guys are 1-shots. I do take a round in the back from the Scorpion here. So I need to get to cover, right? You can see me looking behind me just to make sure I'm in as much cover as possible, and I just hope that my team will deal with him. But I need to kill this guy, this Oni, quickly before I get killed by the Scorpion. So luckily I get the shot off before he does. I'm still getting shot at by the Scorpion. This Progetto gives me the free kill. Well, I actually don't get the kill, but I would have if he hadn't died. And now I can get into cover from the Scorpion, so that's great. So at this point, they've killed a lot of my allies in the north. This map is interesting because this field is pretty much, you can't push across it without dying. So my allies haven't pushed, which is good. That's why they're kind of stuck behind this mountain, because there's nowhere really for them to go. So as a result, I want to push the south, right, to kind of speed the game up. However, I know there's at least 2, maybe 3 tanks right here, and I don't want to push into 3 tanks as a half-health bottom tier heavy. Stock heavy, that is. So I'm waiting for my teammates to kind of catch up to me so we can push this side. So that's what I'm doing here. But at this point, I'm at 1,500 damage and 3 kills, and that's already a pretty good game for a stock heavy. But you can see how I've played it so far. Definitely more safe. I've tried to take as few hits as possible, except for that Oni shot. That was just a bad play on my part. You can see I take a blind shot into where the Scorpion might be. It is smart to take blind shots if their enemy is likely to be there. You know, blind shooting bushes or whatever. TD players often will just camp in the same spot the entire game. So blind shotting them is good. But now I feel safe pushing up here, because I've got this guy as kind of a shield in front of me. Now, I kind of try to take the shot for this P-43 here. You can see I was much more open, but the KV-3 decides to shoot at the P-43 anyway. Luckily, he misses, but I'm not sure why he did that. I guess to get him out of the game. Regardless, now I feel like I can get another shot into this guy. However, my reload's so long that he actually reloads just as fast as I do and gets a shot into me. So that was my fault. And here there's a bit of an issue, right? I've got 2 tanks in front of me. One of them's an autoloader, and one of them's a KV-3 that can one-shot me. Now, if you count the shots this AMX fires, 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And then I think he fired one more a little earlier. Anyway, I knew he had fired 5 shots, and he only had 3 left. And he has about 95 alpha, I think. And I have 300 HP, so the chances he kills me with 1 clip, with the remaining shots in his clip, that is about 50-50, right? 3 times 95. But the KV-3 will definitely kill me in 1 shot. So in my opinion, the KV-3 is the bigger threat here. So I decided to ignore the autoloader for now and focus on the bigger threat. You can see the KV-3 misses, and I get the bigger threat of the game. And now I can turn my front armor to this AMX. And he's got very poor pen, so he can't pen me. But that's something you want to keep in mind with autoloaders. It turns out he was clipping. He actually didn't have shots left. But even if he did have shots left, that would have still been the right play. But the thing with autoloaders is if they're clipping, they can't hurt you. So unless they're the only tank you can shoot at, taking out the biggest threat is most likely going to be the tank that reloads quicker. So autoloaders are not always the tank to focus down if someone else is going to shoot you before they reload. And this was a pretty good example of that, shooting the KV-3. Regardless, the rest of the game is pretty much just hunting down their team. I think I get one more shot into the 101 here. Yeah, I get the kill. But that's the game. That was 5 kills, 3,000 damage in a stock bottom tier heavy. I think this game illustrated stock tanks pretty well. You do have to rely on your team, unfortunately, because often stock tanks DPM is very low, especially if your crew's bad. Like my crew was not great in this replay. But I think, like I said, I think that illustrated how to play stock tanks better. You know, you kind of got to play safe, pop out when they're not looking at you, and basically do what you would in a normal tank, but to a greater. Basically, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. You have to be more safe, because if you die early, trying to do something that an upgraded tank would be able to do, but your stock tank can't, if you die trying to do something like that, your grind is going to be longer, right? You just need to stay alive because you'll do more damage that way, and that'll make you get more XP, and that'll shorten your grind for the stock tank. But regardless, I think this game could be helpful, and let's go take a look at the replays. Or the, excuse me, the end plates. Alright, so that was an ace tanker. It was a 4 times XP event, so I made 8k XP. I got 2900 damage, 5 kills, 1392 base XP. I did a mission and got 80,000 extra credits, so even though I shot a lot of gold, I still made credits. That's about it for the end plates. I hope this was useful. I think this series will be particularly useful. I'll continue to do parts of this series whenever I have stock tanks I'm playing. But other than that, in the future, I've got another Road to 3 Marks coming for a different tank, and I'm considering doing some live gameplay. But as always, if you have anything to put in the comments, I'll be happy to respond. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.